1. The Book of Aquarius. The purpose of this book is to release one particular secret, which has been kept hidden for the last 12,000 years. The Philosopher's Stone, Elixir of Life, Fountain of Youth, Ambrosia, Soma, Amrita, Nectar of Immortality. These are different names for the same thing. Throughout history, this secret has been used by a very few to extend their lives hundreds of years in perfect health, with access to unlimited wealth, among many other miraculous properties. Some kept the secret because they understood that the time was not right for the secret to be free for all people, but most kept the secret out of their own jealousy, ignorance, egotism and corruption. The stone's history and the history of the human race up until this day is a strange story full of secret societies, hooded cloaks, and mystical symbols. Such theatrics are childish and shallow. It's pointless to look for the light in the shadows. The Philosopher's Stone operates and is made by entirely natural and scientific answer. Truth is always simple, beautiful and easy to understand. The Philosopher's Stone is real. You can make it at home. The stone makes old people young, heals all forms of sickness and disease, extends your life, turns any metal into gold, and more, as you will learn. This isn't a myth or a metaphor, it's a fact. Don't judge this book before you've read it. This is not one of those airy-fairy books written in all kinds of mystical language, filling pages with words that make sentences but not sense. This book will make more sense than anything you've ever read before. The age of secrets is over. I'm writing this book in common English. There's no need for mystical language or metaphor. This book contains no hidden meaning or codes. Everything is stated plainly and directly, in the shortest and simplest of words necessary to convey the meaning. Chapter 1 is the introduction. Chapter 2 is the foreword. Chapters 3 to 18 cover the theory of alchemy. Chapters 19 to 30 cover the practical instructions for making the stone. Chapters 31 to 33 cover further information on the stone. Chapters 34 to 49 cover the history of the stone. Chapters 50 to 51 cover some more philosophical topics. Chapter 52 is the alchemist's prophecy. Chapter 53 is the afterword. Chapter 54 is a request for your help in the distribution of this book. Chapter 55 is a list of answers to questions asked since initial release. Chapter 56 is the bibliography. Truth is stranger than fiction, but it is because fiction is obliged to stick to possibilities, truth isn't. By Samuel Clemens, aka Mark Twain. 2. What is alchemy? Nature enjoys its nature, nature contains nature, improves nature, reduces nature, nature is superior to nature. A magnificent and select tract on philosophical water, by anonymous, 13th-17th Ken. Alchemy is the art of imitating and accelerating nature. It is a natural art and science. In alchemy we do not really make anything. All we do is provide a condition for nature to do what nature does. So the Philosopher's Stone is not really made by the alchemist, it is made by nature. The alchemist only provides the conditions so that nature can operate effectively and without being disturbed. Many sages, scholars, and learned men have in all ages, and, according to Hermes, even so early as the days before the flood, written much concerning the preparation of the Philosopher's Stone, and if their books could be understood without a knowledge of the living processes of nature, one might almost say that they are calculated to supersede the study of the real world around us. But though they never departed from the simple ways of nature, they have something to teach us, which we, in these more sophisticated times, still need to learn, because we have applied ourselves to what are regarded as the more advanced branches of knowledge, and despise the study of so simple a thing as natural generation. Hence we pay more heed to impossible things than to those objects which are broadly exhibited before our very eyes. We excel more in subtle speculations than in a sober study of nature, and of the meaning of the sages. It is one of the most remarkable features of human nature that we neglect those things which seem familiar, and are eager for new and strange information. The workman who has attained the highest degree of excellence in his art, neglects it, and applies himself to something else, or else abuses his knowledge. Our longing for an increase of knowledge urges us ever onward towards some final goal, in which we imagine that we shall find full rest and satisfaction. Nature, then, is one, true, simple, self-contained, created by God and informed with a certain universal spirit. Its end and origin are God. Its unity is also found in God, because God made all things. Nature is the one source of all things, nor is anything in the world outside nature, or contrary to nature. If art would produce any solid and permanent effect, it must follow in the footsteps of nature, and be guided by her methods. It must trust itself to the guidance of nature as far as nature will lead, and go beyond her by still adhering to her rules. Now in our art you should closely imitate these natural processes. There should be the central heat, the change of the water into air, the driving upward of the air, its diffusion through the pores of the earth, its reappearance as condensed but volatilized water. The New Chemical Light, by Michael Sendivogius, 17th Ken. Nature, says Florus, is one, and if any man strays away from her guidance, he mars his labor. In changing the base metals into gold and silver by the projection of the stone, it follows, by an accelerated process, the method of nature, and therefore is natural. The fact is that, in producing gold, the art of alchemy does not pretend to imitate in the whole work of nature. It does not create metals, or even develop them out of the metallic first substance. It only takes up the unfinished handiwork of nature, i.e., the imperfect metals, and completes it, transmutes metals into gold. The New Pearl of Great Price, by Peter Bonus, 1338 AD. An alchemist then only makes the stone in the same way that you make a tree by planting the seed and leaving it for a few years. Once the seed is set, if the conditions are right, then it just grows by itself, in accordance with nature. For as men, corn and herbs are, every one of them, generated and born out of their own specific seed, so or in the same manner is the true medicine of the ancients, than which there cannot be a better, generated and prepared out of the most perfect bodies and essence. Everything generated or begotten is generated and born of his own specific seed, 1, and in his proper, 2, matrix. The Chemist's Key, by Henry Nollius, 1617 AD. There is no true generation, but of things agreeing in nature. So that things be not made but according to their natures. The elder or oak trees will not bring forth pears, nor can you gather grapes of thorns, or figs of thistles. Things bring not forth, but only their like, or what agrees with thee in nature, each tree its own fruit. Thus the wise man does that by art in a short time, which nature cannot perform in less than the revolution of 1,000 years. Yet notwithstanding, it is not we that make the metal, but nature herself that does it. Nor do or can we change one thing into another, but it is nature that changes them. We are no more than mere servants in the work. The Root of the World, by Roger Bacon, 13th Ken. If you are wondering how this leads to the Philosopher's Stone, I will explain it more clearly. The Philosopher's Stone is a natural occurrence of nature, in fact it is the aim of nature. Therefore if you can find a substance which is very pure and infused with life energy, then put it under protected conditions which are advantageous for its natural development, you will allow nature to take its course in an accelerated manner. When this is complete, nature will have made for you the Philosopher's Stone. It's very simple and entirely natural, which is the biggest part of the secret. I will explain again in another way. The Philosopher's Stone is the name of the thing that you get when nature has finished doing what it does all day long. The Earth and the entire universe are going through this process. If, however, you find a substance already quite well matured by nature, clean it up, then put it into a closed system, or microcosm, nature will finish this thing long before it finishes everything else. So you get the result of nature earlier and can enjoy all its wonderful properties while the rest of the world is still in shit. The chemical development of our substance is internal, and caused by the operation of nature. Our wise teacher Plato says, "Every husbandman who sows good seed, first chooses a fertile field, plows and manures it well, and weeds it of all tares. He also takes care that his own grain is free from every foreign admixture." When he has committed the seed to the ground, he needs moisture, or rain, to decompose the grain, and to raise it to new life. He also requires fire, that is, the warmth of the sun, to bring it to maturity. The needs of our art are of an analogous nature. First, you must prepare your seed, i.e., cleanse your matter from all impurity, by a method which you will find set forth at length in the dicta of the sages which I subjoin to this treatise. Then you must have good soil in which to sow your Mercury and Sun. This earth must first be weeded of all foreign elements if it is to yield a good crop. The Glory of the World, or Table of Paradise, by Anonymous, 1526 AD. For of this composition, combining as it does the virtues of all things, there may truly be said that in one drop the whole world is present. Man, the best and most perfect of God's creatures, by Benedictus Figulus, 1607 AD. Besides, the science of the stone is so sublime and magnificent, that therein almost all nature and the whole universe of beings is beheld, as in a certain clear-looking glass. For it is like a lesser world. God wrought out his compacted being of the world by certain harmony and musical proportionality to one another, that which are in the superior world are in the inferior also, but in a terrestrial manner, that which likeness are in the inferiors, may also be seen in the superiors, in a celestial manner indeed, and according to the cause. Some philosophers have compared the work of the stone to the creation of the world. Likewise to the generation of man, and to his naturalness. Book of the Chemical Art, by Marsilius Ficinus, 15th Ken. The inspired apostle, Saint Peter, tells us that the earth and its works shall consume therein, and a new world shall be born, beautiful and good, as is described in the Apocalypse. An anonymous treatise concerning the philosopher's stone, by Anonymous, 12th-17th Ken. The ancient writers call our stone a microcosm, and there can be no doubt that its composition greatly resembles that of the world in which we live. The Chemical Treatise, or The Ordinal of Alchemy, by Thomas Norton, 1477 AD. To understand aright how out of this our chaos we are to form our philosophical microcosm, we must first of necessity rightly comprehend the great mystery and proceeding in the creation of the macrocosm, it being extremely necessary to imitate and use the very same method in the creation of our little one, that the Creator of all things has used in the formation of the Great One. Aphorisms of Urbigerus, by Baro Urbigerus, 1690 AD. This water cannot be prepared using strange methods in the world, but rather, it can only be prepared using natural means, together with nature and from nature. These words are bright and clear to those who understand. A magnificent and select tract on philosophical water, by Anonymous, 13th-17th Ken. Alchemy is therefore the art of the microcosm and the acceleration of nature through the microcosm. There is only one method for the entire work. We only do one thing, and that is to allow nature to take its course. Admittedly, however, we do first clean up our substance and remove what is not needed. For the knowledge of this art consisteth not in the multiplicity, or great number of things, but in unity. Our stone is but one, the matter is one, and the vessel is one. The government is one, and the disposition is one. The whole art and work thereof is one, and begins in one manner, and in one manner it is finished. The Root of the World, by Roger Bacon, 13th Ken. It is prepared from one substance, with which the art of chemistry is conversant, to which nothing is added, from which nothing is taken away, except that its superfluities are removed. A Brief Guide to the Celestial Ruby, by Irenaeus Philalethes, 1694 AD. 3. How does it work? The philosopher's stone is energy, concentrated and purified to a massively high degree. This is the same energy that you are taking in when you breathe, and when you eat and drink. It is the energy that powers all forms of life, and so I will call it life energy, since I have to call it something, and life energy is self-explanatory. I think most of us already have a feeling that there is some kind of life energy we obtain from our food, drink and air. We all know that eating fruit is better than taking vitamins. We know that there is something in the juice of the fruit. We know that raw vegetables are better than cooked vegetables. We know that cooking food destroys the goodness in it. We eat other life forms, and we know that the more alive or fresh our food is, the better it is for us. There is also much to be said for breathing deeply and rhythmically, and not just for the oxygen, else we would get the same effect by breathing air with more oxygen, but that's not necessarily the case. Although the proper method of breathing and directing the movements of the qi, ethereal essence, of the body, and the eating of vegetable medicine, may extend people's life, yet they will not keep people from death. But the eating of the shen tan, divine medicine, confers immortality on the eater, enabling him to last as long as heaven and earth and ride on clouds and dragons up and down the Tai Chin, great clearness. On the gold medicine and on the yellow and the white, by Ko Hung, 4th Ken. Chinese. This life energy is physical in the sense that it can be captured and made use of. You could say that this life energy is the smallest particle, of which all other particles are made. Or you could say that everything is made of energy, and this is that energy in a raw and undetermined form, not yet formed into an element, which is probably closer to the truth. Things in the universe are all produced from the single qi, ethereal essence, which embodies both the wool of the clear sky and the wool of the clouded earth. When bamboo ware is broken, bamboo is needed for repairing. When a man's energy wears out, lead is required for re-strengthening. Think the matter over. The medicine may be found directly in front of your eyes. The trouble is that the common people cannot perceive it. Shi Xing Lin, disciple of Chang Po Tuan, and Xie Tao Quang, disciple of Shi Xing Lin, 11th–13th Ken. Chinese. Man is made of earth, and lives through air. For air contains the hidden food of life, of which the invisible spirit, when congealed, is better than the whole world. The New Chemical Light, by Michael Sendivogius, 17th Ken. The stone which the philosophers do seek is an invisible and impalpable spirit. The stone also is in everything, that is, nature is in everything. And because nature has in itself all names, and nature is all the world, therefore the stone has many names and is said to be in everything, although one is nearer than another. Book of the Chemical Art, by Marsilius Ficinus, 15th Ken. Everything conferring the virtue of stability and permanence necessarily possesses this virtue itself. A Golden and Blessed Casket of Nature's Marvels, by Benedictus Figulus, 1607 AD. Thus the power of growth that I speak of is imparted not by the earth, but by the life-giving spirit that is in it. If the earth were deserted by this spirit, it would be dead, and no longer able to afford nourishment or anything. Know then, gentle reader, that life is the only true spirit. The 12 Keys, by Basilius Valentinus, 15th Ken.